147 grain 9mm. I actually had a request to test this stuff, and somebody said they were going to send me some, and I actually had what they wanted me to test. They wanted to see some gold dot 147 grain. They did request a 4-inch barrel, but I thought it might be a little more fun to come out here and make the differences a little bit bigger by using my 3.2-inch barrel Taurus G2C and my 5-inch barrel M&P 2.0. So what I want to do is put 2 law enforcement rounds back to back and a test against each other and just see how they do. So we have our Speer LE 147 grain gold dot hollow point, and we have our Winchester Ranger 147 grain, and this is a plus P service bonded jacketed hollow point. So 2 147 grains. One does happen to be a plus P, one is not. I'm not even sure if gold dot comes in a plus P 147 grain, but interesting thing, I was looking through some of my videos, kind of looking at maybe some of the past tests I've done with 147 grain, and it's been pretty much non-existent, which kind of surprises me. I had like some Buffalo Boar plus P plus that I tested in gel, and I think I tested this gold dot one time in gel, but other than that, I've never gel tested any other 147 grains. So I'll be interested to see what kind of performance I get. So I'm going to go through the chronograph with both of those barrel lengths, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. Then I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test. I'm going to do a real world versus best case scenario test. So basically with our best case scenario, I'm just going to go through straight plain clear ballistics into clear ballistics. You know, that'd kind of be like shooting a naked person, I suppose, just to see, you know, what the best case scenario is where we don't have denim, we don't have bone simulation to clog a hollow point. Then I'm going to do my worst case scenario, which is, you know, 4 layers of denim followed by 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting a pectoral muscle, followed by a 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs or sternum, into more clear ballistics. And if anybody says that, you know, it's not realistic they use 4 layers of denim, there's at least 4 layers of denim in this jacket I'm wearing here. So you do want to try best or worst case scenario and test your ammo for it, rather than just hoping that it's going to work through, you know, fabric barriers and stuff like that. And then I'm going to shoot my steel silhouette and just see what kind of practical accuracy we can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, I saw no velocity numbers listed on the gold dot box, but the Winchester Ranger did say at 1,030 feet per second as the rated velocity. So first up, I'm going to try the gold dot 147 grain in our shorter barrel and then our longer barrel, and then we'll move on to the Ranger. So let's see what we get with our gold dot 147 grain and our 3.2-inch barrel here. 963, 968, 944, 947, 951. So not too bad and not too inconsistent, really. Let's move on to our 5-inch barrel, see what this will give us. 1001, 1007, 1015, 1007, 999. That's really consistent. So let's move on to our Ranger here, and we'll see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get with that. Remember, it's rated at 1030 feet per second. So let's try our short barrels here. Let's see what we get. How close we get to 1030. 985, 950, 982, 987, 973. So not really a significant difference, even though this is a plus P. So let's try our longer barrel now with our Ranger. See what we get. 1076, 1077, 1054, 1032, 1050. So you kind of see a difference there, what's going on. You know, with the shorter barrel, there's obviously more powder in that Ranger, and it's a plus P, so that would indicate that. And you know, with our short barrels, we're not really taking advantage of that, you know, extra powder whatsoever. But when we go to a full service size gun, that plus P, the extra powder, does come into play. So let's hit our ballistics gel block with these. We'll do our best case scenario with each of the guns here, and then we'll move on to our worst case scenario. So let's get started with that part of the test. All right, here's our best case scenario where there's not going to be any denim or anything like that in the way. Short barrel here. So I'm going to run our gold dot, and then I'm going to run our Ranger here. So Here's our gold dot. Just do plain clear ballistics. All right, so now I'm gonna do our Ranger Plus P here. Same thing. Let's go take a look. All right, so we're seeing a significant difference there. More damage and more penetration with our Ranger, but you know, I got expansion with both, but what we're seeing here is with our gold dot, we went to right at about 16.5 inches, good expansion. With our Ranger Plus P, we went right to about 19 inches. Not really over penetration, because clear ballistics kind of, you can go deeper in clear ballistics than organic gel, so that's honestly not too bad. So let's try our longer barrels now. All right, 5-inch barrel, gold dot. See how this will do. All right, 5-inch barrel, Ranger. Let's go take a look. I tried to space these out the best I can so you can get a better look at them, but basically with our gold dot, not a huge difference there. Like, there was 16.5 inches with our, you know, our shorter barrel, but with our longer barrel, we have about 16. Well, the first one was closer to 16 3/4. This one's about 16 1/4, so only about a ½ inch difference there. Now with our longer barrel, we do see a little bit of a difference there. When we get further in it, we have more damage there, and we went to right at 18 inches exactly. So, you know, looking at that Ranger Plus P, that is really, thus far, looking like a really good service load. But, you know, the gold dot did just as well. It just had a hair more penetration than what we're looking for. So let's try our worst case scenarios now and just kind of see how they compare. All right, now here's our worst case scenario. We have 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, like hitting a pectoral muscle, a 1/4 inch of MDF, and the more clear ballistics. Short barrel, I'm going to start with our gold dot here. And see how this one will do going through, you know, that human-like barrier with clothing and everything. So here's our gold dot. All right, let's try our Ranger now. Here's our Ranger. Let's go take a look. All right, with our gold dot here, what we see is really good damage, and we went up to 14 inches. It looks like we have expansion. It looks really consistent. Now with our Ranger Plus P here, we have more damage up here, and we went to about 16.5 inches, but there does not appear to be any expansion, which is kind of interesting. So let's try our longer barrels now. All right, our gold dot through our real world scenario. How it does. Let's try our Ranger now. All right, longer barrel, real world scenario, Winchester Ranger Plus P. Let's go take a look. All right, so kind of what I was thinking I was gonna see. These are MDF, you know. One of them you can definitely tell from our shorter barrel with the Ranger, we didn't get any expansion. You can kind of see that. The rest of them look like there might be some. So what we're looking at here is with our gold dot, it continued to perform okay. Let me try to get this lined up exactly right. So with our gold dot here, what we're looking at is we went to about 15 1/4 inches. It does appear there's expansion with our Ranger, surprisingly. You know, we do see expansion, but there's less damage in there. And we went to 21 1/2 inches, which is kind of over penetration in a way. So really what we're seeing here is overall our standard pressure gold dot seemed to do quite well across the board. As were our Ranger, while that did pretty well in our best case scenario, when we went to kind of real world scenarios here, we're seeing that the expansion was limited to almost none, and we penetrated deeper. So it's kind of hard to say here, you know, maybe that Ranger would be better suited for going through auto glass and stuff like that, as where maybe the gold dot wouldn't. But if I had to just like say what's the better round here for your average citizen here, I'm going to say the gold dot seemed to do a little bit better. But when we're looking at, you want a lot more penetration, and with the velocity numbers we saw, you know, in a full size gun like a 5-inch barrel, the Winchester Ranger can have its own use. So that's what you get with that. Now let me shoot some steel and just see what kind of accuracy I can get with these. All right, so what I want to do for this test is 10 yards. I just want to do our shorter barrel and see how they compare just on our practical accuracy, just to see how they shoot for me under a little bit of rapid fire. And then I'm going to back up to 75 yards with my longer barrel and see how that will shoot. So here's our gold dot. Let's just see how this will do for me on this G2C. This one, our Ranger, obviously had more power, more pressure and all that, but we weren't achieving that extra in this pistol here. There's a gold dot there. Let's see how our Ranger will do. Well, a little bit harder to control, but results seem fine. So let's go back from 75 yards with my M&P, see how that does. All right, 75 yards from the target. First up, our gold dot. You know, these theoretically might be accurate, because I don't know how true this is, but a lot of people will say that if you go from supersonic down to subsonic, it messes with your accuracy. I don't know if that's true or not, but one thing I do know is 147 grain is heavier than 124, 115. So the momentum effect is a real effect, and you know, heavier rounds do tend to retain more energy at distance. So we'll see what we get. So gold dot, 147 grain, 75 yards from the target. See if I can make any hits. All right, there might be something to that. Looking from here, it looks like some of them are shooting a little bit higher from my point of aim. See how our Ranger Plus P does. All right, so even though I kind of missed one with this, I had a few more rounds of this, so I'm gonna say equal accuracy, because yeah, I think I had like 5 more rounds of this. So overall, I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing with 147 grain, because a lot of times I come out here And I'll shoot from this distance with 124 plus P and stuff like that, and I can make hits, but a lot of times I miss quite a few. So it just seems like that momentum of the 147 grain is keeping that accuracy a little bit better at distance, which, you know, that makes scientific sense. You know, you're losing a lot less from air resistance and all of that. So overall, both of these, I'm gonna say both of these did absolutely excellent. I would not necessarily pick a winner here, but if I had to, you know, tell an average person, you don't know what gun you're gonna be putting it in, whether it's a short barrel, whether it's a long barrel, whether it's an in-between barrel, I'm gonna say go with the Gold Dot. Very accurate round, very easy to shoot. With our Ranger here, we had a little bit more felt recoil. Let's be honest, you know, a little more 9mm on top of 9mm isn't anything, but a little bit more hard to control it when I was firing rapid fire through our short barrel, but definitely more penetration. So I could definitely see how 100% that Ranger is straight up law enforcement. You know, it's going to meet a lot more law enforcement needs. It's going to penetrate deeper through hard stuff. But overall, our Gold Dot is just an absolutely good round across the board. So that's what you get today. Interesting results. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.